Hello, Virgo. This is your March 2021 general reading. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. March comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb. So they say, right? Is that what we're going to do, Virgos? Is that what is on deck for March for Virgo 2021? Let's take a look at the overall energies. And there they are. Well, at least we know we're coming in like a lion. That's good. What an appropriate card for the month that has the first day of spring, right? I'm going to start with the yin line today. Yin, March 2021. Hope your year has been going well thus far. We are at this point, at the end of this month, 25% of 2021 is history, right? Wow. We must be having fun because time flies when you're having fun. So yin, we start with the Four of Cups. Yay, Virgo yin. Eight of Swords. King of Wands. So yin. Have you been endeavoring to develop your heart a little bit? And it's gotten you into a mode where perhaps you're thinking too much about it? Have you been overly focused on relationships? Is your family life one that has challenged you to the point where you've been through a bunch of things, you've transformed? 2020 certainly was a year of opportunities for transformation all over the place, right? So what I'm seeing here is that if there is something that has been niggling away that perhaps you're wondering if it's ever going to end, it's looking like that the end is at hand. The end of things that have been going on, not of new things, something that's been around for a while and has wanted attention, and you've been giving it attention, Yin. And I think what is important to say here is that the trials or the challenges are about over, but they're just about over because of you. Because what you've done has not been for nothing. It has been worthy. It has been a noble cause. And you are there because you have put yourself there. So it's time to, I think, give yourself a bit of a pat on the back, enough to just take a moment and know that you are as great as you are supposed to be. You have tapped into your greatness and gotten the results. It's awesome. Now, it's not over. The tribulation part is about over, but the whole thing that where you're on this path that you've been developing yourself and taking yourself to a higher level to deal with whatever is got some things to be done, T's to be crossed, I's to be dotted before you're truly at this level of completion. But now, however, because you are who you are and you've done what you've done, you're ready to do those last few things, and sewing things up nicely can mitigate and overshadow any trip-ups along the way. Did you make mistakes on your way to getting where you are? Of course, everyone does. You're human. And yet, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but there are symphonies, classical music symphonies out there that in their own right, I mean, for the most of the beginning and the meat of the center of the symphony, they're perhaps not that great, but they have great endings. And that seems to be the appeal. It attracts people, the endings, the way you close out a deal, a bargain, whatever you close out in your life. It makes a difference. It can overshadow things that you may have considered blunders or trip-ups or mistakes you made. So I would just choose, because it is your right to choose to let the sun shine upon the parts that you have accomplished that got you where you are, to remove the shadows, which can be considerations that want to make you feel or be less than you truly are, and allow that sun to take you like a wave of light into the completion with whatever you've started. And love awaits you at the conclusion of that checkpoint. So you're just checking in with yourself. You're updating and upgrading your whole opinion about yourself in this ongoing thing, this ongoing process. And love opens the door, stable love. Something that if you go to the rider weight deck, you truly have a hand come out of the clouds and offer you a cup. That's beautiful. And let it be said that it could be that behind this is a fire sign for you. Someone who is pretty fiery, pretty able to get things accomplished, and has exactly what you need in terms of this kind of knowledge. And if you're a solo player and you're hitting this card, it's telling you that you might as well open the gates to at least look at the throne that is your throne in your own heart and soul. And if you are inspired to do so, go try it out. Go sit in that throne and be that person that you are. And then get back to it. Get back to work, right? All right. So Yin, that's you. You're looking good. Looking good in a soft, warm way. Feels like a solar plexus kind of a foundation. Something that is in the center of your being, that is in tune and in sync. Let's see what's going on with Yang. Knight of Cups. Yin, maybe that's your knight in shining armor. He is right beneath your 4. But let's stay with just the Yang for a moment. Page of Pentacles. Nine of Wands. So Yang, your world, wow. Your world includes some kind of a breakthrough. But it's a breakthrough that you have to make. And you're going to be relying upon your efforts to date. Remember, this is shining on you. And so allowing it to illuminate your path forward is not a bad idea. And I say that because if you note here and here, the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups are both looking in the same direction. And traditionally, the left side of the card is when the influences come in from the left. Activities and actions emerge from the right side of the card. And these guys here are both looking to the left with eyes that are requesting some assistance, some kind of knowledge that is missing, if you will. And it's being expressed through the new kid on the block mentality of the Page of Pentacles. He's hungry to get going in his new role as the page in the royal court. But he's needing something in order to get that going. There's some ambivalence here. And there doesn't need to be. So he's looking to the Knight of Cups, like, am I going to do this through taking actions with my emotions, how I feel about things? And the Knight is going, well, I'm not exactly sure. So both of them are requesting, right? And yet, the Knights are going to take action anyway. Whether they need something or not, they didn't get there. They didn't get to knighthood by not transcending pagehood. So they graduated from being the squire, and now they are the knight. And so they're going to take action. That action could need to be somewhat on not remote control, but automatic pilot. So Virgo, Yang, you may have to rely upon some of your autopilot energy to get the knowledge you need before you move forward. Now, if you are holding out a cup, you're actually asking for perhaps someone to either fill your cup or to extend their cup to you in response. It's good. And more power to you. Whether that'll happen or not, I think, is based upon the Nine of Wands. Another autopilot kind of card. You can be, in this case, you can go to the conventional wisdom of the Nine of Wands easily falling into the role of the wounded warrior. And perhaps that will give you enough of a key to how to get through this that you will go through this. In other words, you have some kind of response needing to be given that will it'll transform you as the seeker, the questioner, the requester of help. Please give me assistance. I need help. Turn you from that to thank you very much. And now I'm ready. My loins are girded and I can walk forward with confidence. And in order to do that, you're going to have to not rest on the laurels of being your wounded warrior self. Rather, you're going to have to turn the page and look into your conquests. Not the fact that they took their toll on your body or whatever, in this case, maybe your spiritual body. That's not the focus. The focus is, what did you accomplish? What have you achieved? And that brings you to that point where all of a sudden you're infused with that energy that is expressed by plants and trees as they reach their branches up to the sun to get more light, more light, more light. And in your case, Yang, Yin was being asked by Yin's cards to let the sun shine upon an effort, to shine upon a trial and error transformation into newness. This is being required to shine upon your path to give you the answers you require and then the strength that you embody. You notice these are not cards. I mean, in the royalty, you do have at least one card that's a newbie kind of a card. These other cards are not newbie cards. They're not new kids on the block kind of cards. They're ones that speak to your evolution and your having been in the process and part of the process to this point. So it's not calling upon your small self. It's calling upon your big person self. That's the response that can truly connect with the light of the sun. Okay. Archetypes. What's going on in this spiritual biosphere? What is being shown upon you? "22 cards, numbered 1 through 22. 22 cards, major arcana. These are the equivalent of the planets orbiting your spiritual biosphere over all these details here. Let's see what they are and what they contain. Card number 1 is going to be 21. Card number 2 is going to be 5. Card number 3 is going to be 16. And card number 4 is going to be 9. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 22, 21. The archetypal situation, the devil. The archetypal obstacle, the magician. The archetypal asset, the emperor. The archetypal outcome, the world. So, the situation is, I'm almost getting the impression that you've been in a state of denial, in a way. So that you've been turning your back on your true self and your true nature. And that is no longer going to fly. Of course, you have a choice. You don't have to do it, but the time is ripe. Let's put it that way. This card is saying the time is ripe to face it, to go down into the depths, to visit the dark side of the force, and to go find out where you've been pulling the wool over your own eyes. And you know, that as a byproduct is going to reveal where other people have been trying to pull the wool over your eyes. That's okay, because taking care of business is taking care of business. And this is a moment of the inescapable fact that the time is now, and now is the time. So the situation is to go and not be in denial, which of course is going to reveal your beautiful, wonderful, authentic self, or just more aspects of it. May not be the whole kit and caboodle at this moment, but certainly significant parts of the whole enchilada. The obstacle is the magician. So let's say your opinion of yourself is one that contains within it there's nothing I can't handle. Well, that's true. There is nothing that you can't handle. But to say it and to live it are two different things. And I think that this card being an obstacle is reminding you not to be satisfied with the former, but to live with the latter. Be the process. Be the change in your own nature. And remove the obstacle of your ego self from the equation and skate through. Skate through. It's only an obstacle until it's not. Your asset. Well, you could be doing worse. I mean, there's obviously some things in the details here. Remember, this energy of the Emperor energy is radiating down upon your biosphere. So let's talk about the biosphere. Within this biosphere are things that are going to be nitty-gritty. There's no getting around it. It's not a matter of flowers and flowery things in this particular case. Because of that, you've got even more benefit when you have to deal with nitty-gritty and down-to-earth kinds of realities. This is the master of the world of realities. This is all the kings have knowledge. The King of Swords has all the knowledge of the swords. The King of Wands has all the knowledge of wands, and so on. This gentleman right here is the King of the Kings. And so, that being your asset, it has a silent assurity to it, assuredness to it. Be assured, rest assured that you have the person that has your back in terms of the spirit person that has your back is fully and totally capable of having, not only having your back, but helping you to see through what must be seen through. Okay. Nuts and bolts, right? Nuts and bolts, nuts and bolts. It has felt a bit like that, although the sun has been shining on everything. It's felt a bit like nuts and bolts and nitty-gritty. But what waits at the end of that? When you see the light at the end of the tunnel, what happens is you walk out of that tunnel. And what do you find? The world. So your outcome is all and everything. Is it worth it? I don't want to say a whole lot more about what the world can and does represent in this kind of equation. But is it worth it at that point? If you knew in advance that that's your prize, would you make the effort? I feel like that's what's being called upon. And for the faint of heart, my dear Yin and Yang Virgos, you may want to reconsider the idea of having a courageous heart. Let that love light shine through and fortify you. That's all I have to say about that, to quote Forrest Gump. And so, thank you for being here for March 2021, Virgos. I appreciate it. I'll be back next month. We'll see you then. Until then, thanks again. Love you all. Bye for now.